For 14 years, Bonanza captured the untamed spirit of the American West, bringing audiences into the lives of the Cartwright family as they ruled over the sprawling Ponderosa Ranch. The show wasn't just a television staple, it became a legend, shaping the golden age of Westerns and solidifying its cast as household names. But just as the frontier fades into history, so too have the stars who once brought it to life. This is the story of those who rode their final trail. From Lorne Greene's commanding presence as Ben Cartwright to Michael Landon's transition from young heartthrob to Hollywood icon, each actor left behind a legacy that far outlived their time on screen. Dan Blocker, Pernell Roberts, and a host of beloved recurring stars, each had their own journey, both on and off the Ponderosa. And as we remember them, we uncover not just how they lived, but how they said goodbye. Pernell Roberts. On a crisp May morning in 1928, in the small city of Waycross, Georgia, Pernell Elvin Roberts Jr. was born to Pernell Roberts Sr. and Minnie Betty Morgan. Growing up in the heart of the Deep South during the Great Depression, young Pernell found his first escape in music, developing a rich baritone voice that would serve him well throughout his life. As a teenager in the 1940s, Roberts' commanding presence and natural charisma emerged early. He attended Georgia Tech, but soon discovered that engineering wasn't his calling. After a brief stint in the United States Marine Corps from 1946 to 1948, Roberts found his true passion on the stage. He left Georgia behind, heading north to pursue his dreams of becoming an actor. The early 1950s saw Roberts cutting his teeth in summer stock and regional theater productions. His classical training and powerful stage presence earned him roles in prestigious productions, including performances at the Arena Stage in Washington, D.C. In 1955, he made his Broadway debut in Tonight in Samarkand. And despite the show's brief run, critics took notice of the tall, handsome actor with the resonant voice. Roberts' theatrical career flourished with appearances in productions of Macbeth. A particular triumph came in 1956 with his portrayal of Petruchio in The Taming of the Shrew at the American Shakespeare Festival, demonstrating his masterful command of classical material. The transition from stage to screen came naturally. After several guest appearances on television shows, Roberts landed what would become his signature role, Adam Cartwright, the eldest son on Bonanza. The show premiered in 1959, and Roberts' portrayal of the educated, architectural-minded eldest Cartwright son brought depth and sophistication to the Western genre. However, Roberts was a complex man with high artistic standards. Despite the show's massive success, he grew increasingly frustrated with what he perceived as the show's simplistic storylines and lack of social consciousness. In a move that shocked many, he left Bonanza in 1965 after 6 seasons, walking away from one of television's most successful series at its peak. The years following Bonanza saw Roberts returning to his theatrical roots while taking guest roles on television. He appeared in episodes of The Big Valley, The Wild Wild West, and Mission Impossible. But it wasn't until 1979 that Roberts found his second defining role as the title character in Trapper John, M.D., a spin-off of MASH. The show ran for 7 successful seasons until 1986, earning Roberts a new generation of fans and proving that his decision to leave Bonanza hadn't ended his television career. Throughout his life, Roberts was known for more than just his acting. He was an outspoken advocate for civil rights, refusing to perform in segregated theaters during his early career in the South. His commitment to social justice remained a constant throughout his life, often using his platform to speak out against inequality. Roberts married 4 times throughout his life, finding lasting happiness with his 4th wife, Eleanor Criswell. He had 1 son, Jonathan Christopher Roberts, from his first marriage to Vera Mowry, though Jonathan tragically preceded him in death in 1989. In his later years, Roberts continued to act occasionally, but became increasingly private. He made his final television appearance in an episode of Diagnosis Murder in 1997, bringing his nearly 50-year acting career to a close. The final chapter of Roberts' life came on January 24, 2010, when he passed away at his home in Malibu, California, at the age of 81. The cause was pancreatic cancer, an illness he had battled quietly. In accordance with his wishes, no funeral was held. and his ashes were scattered over the Pacific Ocean, a fittingly dramatic end for a man who had lived his life on his own terms. Today, Pernell Roberts is remembered not just as Adam Cartwright or Trapper John, but as a principled actor who never compromised his beliefs for success. His journey from the stages of Georgia to the heights of television fame, marked by both triumphs and conscious choices to step away from the spotlight, tells the story of a man who valued artistic integrity over commercial success. Lorne Greene. I spent 14 years playing Ben Cartwright on Bonanza, and that suited me just fine, Lorne Greene once reflected in an interview. His deep, resonant voice and commanding presence made him one of television's most beloved patriarchal figures. However, before his legendary turn as the head of the Cartwright family, Greene's journey began as a Canadian broadcaster, a wartime voice of solemnity and a pioneer in bringing gravitas to Hollywood's depiction of fathers. Born Lyon Hyman Greene on February 12, 1915, in Ottawa, Ontario, Greene was the son of Russian-Jewish immigrants Daniel and Dora Greene. He showed an early knack for performance and leadership, both of which would define his career. While studying chemical engineering at Queen's University in Kingston, Ontario, Greene joined the university's Drama Guild, laying the foundation for his passion for acting. Upon graduation in 1937, Greene veered away from engineering and entered broadcasting. He became instrumental in establishing the Lorne Greene Academy of Radio Arts in Toronto, training a generation of broadcasters in diction, articulation, and storytelling. During World War II, Greene's commanding baritone landed him a role as a newsreader for the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, CBC. His measured and somber delivery of war updates earned him the nickname, the Voice of Doom. Reflecting on those years, Greene once said, "The news was mostly about loss. I simply tried to deliver it with the respect it deserved." His wartime broadcasts made him a household name across Canada and set him on a path toward global recognition. By the early 1950s, Greene transitioned to acting, moving to New York to pursue a career in theater, television, and film. His stage work included performances in Broadway productions like The Prescott Proposal and films, appearing in notable productions such as The Silver Chalice, 1954, where he portrayed St. Peter, Autumn Leaves, 1956, starring opposite Joan Crawford, The Buccaneer, 1958. In 1959, Greene landed his most iconic role as Ben Cartwright, the patriarch of the Cartwright family on NBC's Bonanza. The series was a trailblazer as the first Western broadcast in color and became one of the longest-running and most successful shows in television history. Over 14 seasons and 431 episodes, Greene's portrayal of Ben Cartwright, a widowed father raising 3 sons, set the gold standard for TV fathers. Greene once remarked, "Ben Cartwright wasn't just a role for me, he was the father I aspired to be, strong, kind, and unwavering in his values." While Bonanza cemented Greene's place in television history, he continued to take on diverse projects. Some of his notable roles during and after the series include Peyton Place, adding gravitas to the popular soap opera; Battlestar Galactica, 1978 to 1979, where he starred as Commander Adama, the leader of humanity's remnants in a sci-fi epic that became a cult classic; Earthquake, 1974, a blockbuster disaster film where Greene appeared alongside Charlton Heston and Ava Gardner. Greene also lent his distinctive voice to narration, hosting wildlife documentaries, such as Lorne Greene's New Wilderness, a Canadian series that reflected his love for nature and conservation. Greene continued working well into his later years, even as his health began to decline. His final performances included appearances in the TV miniseries Vegas, 1978, and the film Heidi's Song, 1982. Greene passed away on September 11, 1987, from pneumonia following ulcer surgery. He was 72. Reflecting on his career, Greene once said, "From radio to television, I've had the privilege of speaking to millions. What more could anyone ask for?" Lorne Greene's career spanned 5 decades, and his influence on broadcasting and television remains undeniable. He was laid to rest at Hillside Memorial Park Cemetery in Culver City, California. His plot is located in the courts of the Book, Outer Lawn, Block 5, Plot 800, Grave 8. As the voice of doom, he brought clarity to war-torn audiences. As Ben Cartwright, he symbolized the ideal father, and as Commander Adama, he inspired a new generation with tales of resilience and survival. Today, Greene's legacy lives on in his performances and the enduring values of family, strength, and leadership that he brought to his roles. Grandon Rhodes. Born Louis A. Grandon on August 7, 1904, in Jersey City, New Jersey, Grandon Rhodes built a career that showcased the quiet but pivotal roles character actors play in shaping Hollywood narratives. Before transitioning to film, Rhodes spent years honing his craft in theater, a training ground for many actors of his era. His poised demeanor and commanding voice made him a natural fit for roles that required authority figures. By the late 1930s, he began appearing in small film roles and steadily worked his way into a niche as a reliable supporting actor. Rhodes' contributions to Hollywood during the 1940s and 1950s spanned various genres, showcasing his adaptability. Rhodes' knack for portraying professionals, such as doctors and judges, became a hallmark of his career, lending credibility to every scene he graced. With the rise of television in the mid-20th century, Rhodes successfully transitioned to the new medium, becoming a familiar face to audiences across the United States. His television credits include Bonanza, where he played various characters in this Western staple, contributing to its rich ensemble storytelling. Perry Mason. Rhodes frequently appeared as judges or attorneys in this iconic legal drama. The Twilight Zone. Showcasing his range, Rhodes appeared in episodes of this legendary anthology series. He remained active into the 1960s, maintaining his reputation as a dependable character actor. Grandon Rhodes passed away on June 9, 1987, in Encino, Los Angeles, California, at the age of 82 after a long illness. He was cremated. Grandon Rhodes epitomized the unsung hero of Hollywood's golden age, the character actor. His work provided depth to countless productions. Though rarely in the spotlight, his reliable presence ensured that audiences would remain engrossed in the stories he helped tell. As Rhodes himself once remarked in an interview, the strength of any story lies in the people who hold it together, not just those at the center. Ray Teal. Born into a modest Midwestern family at the dawn of a new century, he would eventually become one of Hollywood's most recognizable faces. On January 12, 1902, Ray Elgin Teal was born in Grand Rapids, Michigan. While his early life included some musical background, his true destiny lay in acting, though he wouldn't discover this calling until later in life. Unlike many actors who started in childhood theater or pursued drama from their youth, Teal's journey to acting began in his 30s. His transition into entertainment came during the challenging years of the 1930s, when he picked up small, uncredited roles in Hollywood productions. Through the late 1930s and early 1940s, Teal began building one of Hollywood's most impressive character actor resumes. His commanding presence and distinctive voice made him particularly effective in both dramatic roles and westerns, where his authoritative demeanor could convey law enforcement and villainy with equal conviction. The 1950s marked Teal's emergence as one of Hollywood's most reliable character actors. His role in Ace in the Hole, 1951, alongside Kirk Douglas, showcased his ability to hold his own against Hollywood's biggest stars. As Sheriff Stu Singer in The Wild One, 1953, he created memorable tension in his scenes with Marlon Brando, proving his ability to bring depth to authority figures. While Teal appeared in numerous prestigious films, including Judgment at Nuremberg, 1961, alongside Spencer Tracy and Burt Lancaster, his most enduring role came on television as Sheriff Roy Coffey in Bonanza. From 1960 to 1972, he appeared in 98 episodes, creating what many consider the definitive portrayal of a Western lawman. His Sheriff Coffey became so iconic that it influenced how audiences imagined Western peace officers for generations to come. Teal's characters often embodied authority figures, whether he portrayed lawmen, soldiers, or managers, showcasing his natural gravitas and his ability to bring depth to supporting roles. On April 2, 1976, he passed away in Santa Monica, California, of natural causes. He was laid to rest at Holy Cross Cemetery. His plot is located in Section H, Lot 595 in Culver City, California. Teal's career spanned nearly 4 decades. While never a leading man, he achieved something rare in Hollywood: continuous work, industry-wide respect, and roles that, while not always large, were invariably memorable. Guy Williams. Armando Joseph Catalano, better known to the world as Guy Williams, was born on January 14, 1924, in New York City's Fort George neighborhood, a place that would prove to be far from the international stages where he would one day shine. He was the son of Italian immigrants. His early life was grounded in New York. From a young age, Guy exhibited a natural charm and an ability to catch the eye. He soon entered the modeling world, and it didn't take long for his striking looks to lead him to a contract with MGM in 1947. This was the beginning of a transformation, as Armando Catalano would soon become Guy Williams, a name that would soon become synonymous with heroic action and television stardom. Williams's entry into acting came at a time when Hollywood was on the verge of a new era. Television was emerging as a significant platform for stars. His first steps on screen were small but notable, appearing in films such as The Beginning of the End, 1947, and Bonzo Goes to College, 1952. However, it was his big break in television that would propel him to fame. In 1957, Walt Disney cast Williams in the iconic role of Zorro for the television series Zorro, 1957 to 1959. This role was the catalyst that turned him into a household name. As the dashing, sword-wielding hero, Guy Williams captured the hearts of viewers with his athleticism, charisma, and the perfect mix of charm and adventure. Zorro ran for 82 episodes, defining Williams as the go-to figure for heroic roles. But Williams wasn't content to rest on the laurels of his Disney success. After Zorro ended, Williams was keen to avoid typecasting, and he found the perfect next step in Lost in Space, 1965 to 1968. As Professor John Robinson, Williams portrayed the steadfast patriarch of the Robinson family, a character who combined intellectual depth with moral authority. In many ways, Lost in Space became an early example of science fiction for family audiences, and Williams's strong performance was key to making the show a hit. For 84 episodes, Williams helped define the role of a father figure in space, balancing the scientific with the emotional in a groundbreaking way that still resonates with fans of the genre. While Lost in Space cemented Williams as a television star, it wasn't the only major role he would take on during the 1960s. In 1964, he joined the cast of Bonanza, one of the most beloved Western series of all time. Williams appeared in 5 episodes as Will Cartwright, a cousin to the Cartwright brothers. His character was introduced as a potential replacement for the role of Adam Cartwright, which had been vacated by Pernell Roberts. Williams brought a fresh yet sophisticated energy to the show, and though his run was short-lived, he became an integral part of the show's vast ensemble. The brief stint in Bonanza highlighted his ability to seamlessly integrate into existing franchises. Beyond the classic television series, Williams's work made an impact internationally, particularly in Latin America, where his portrayal of Zorro reached legendary status. After Lost in Space, Williams moved to Argentina, where he was treated like royalty. The local audience, enamored with his role as Zorro, embraced him as an international icon. In Buenos Aires, Williams found a new home, and his fame only continued to grow. While many stars struggle with the transition from Hollywood to international fame, Williams embraced the opportunity to connect with a new audience, solidifying his place in popular culture across borders. Despite his fame, Williams remained relatively private about his personal life, preferring to keep his relationships and off-screen endeavors separate from his public persona. His reputation as a dedicated professional shone through in his work, but in his later years, he was more inclined to embrace life outside of the Hollywood spotlight. After his time in Argentina, Williams found peace in his later years, but it was also a time of quiet reflection. He continued to make occasional appearances and voice work, but stayed away from the limelight. Unfortunately, the end came unexpectedly. On April 30th, 1989, Guy Williams was found dead in his apartment in Buenos Aires, Argentina, at the age of 65. The cause of death was determined to be a brain aneurysm, a sudden and tragic end for a man who had brought so much joy and adventure into the lives of his fans. Williams's body was cremated, and in accordance with his wishes, his ashes were scattered over the Pacific Ocean in Malibu, California. David Canary. David Hoyt Canary entered the world on August 25, 1938, in Elwood, Indiana. Growing up in Massillon, Ohio, young David showed early signs of the versatility that would define his career. He excelled in both athletics and arts, earning a football scholarship to the University of Cincinnati, while nurturing his passion for music. His powerful baritone voice found a home in the university's Glee Club, laying the groundwork for a performing career that would span decades. After graduation, Canary's path took an unexpected turn when he served in the United States Army. This period of service, from 1960 to 1962, helped shape the disciplined approach he would later bring to his acting career. His early television appearances included roles on Gunsmoke. His rugged good looks and natural screen presence soon caught the attention of casting directors, leading to appearances on Peyton Place in 1965 to 66 as Dr. Russ Gehring. The year 1967 marked a significant milestone when he appeared alongside Paul Newman in Hombre as Lamar Dean. Later that same year, Canary joined the cast of Bonanza as Candy Canada. The role came at a crucial time for the series, following Pernell Roberts' departure as Adam Cartwright. Initially hired for a 3-episode arc, Canary's portrayal of the ranch foreman was so compelling that he became a series regular, appearing in over 90 episodes between 1967 and 1973. Candy Canada wasn't just another ranch hand. Canary imbued the character with a complex personality that complemented the Cartwright family dynamic. His character served as both friend and protector of the Ponderosa, with storylines that explored his mysterious past and showcased his loyalty to the Cartwrights. Throughout the 1970s, Canary continued to appear in numerous television shows. His formal Broadway debut came in 1980 with Tennessee Williams' Clothes for a Summer Hotel, where he demonstrated his theatrical abilities in one of Williams' more challenging later works. The decade would bring even greater recognition when he landed what would become his most acclaimed role. In 1983, Canary joined All My Children as Adam Chandler, and soon after, he would also portray Adam's twin brother, Stuart. These dual roles showcased his remarkable range. Adam was a ruthless business tycoon, while Stuart possessed a gentle, artistic soul. The contrast between the brothers allowed Canary to display his full dramatic capabilities, earning him 5 Daytime Emmy Awards for Outstanding Lead Actor between 1986 and 2001. Despite his success in television, he maintained a connection to theater throughout his career, frequently performing in regional productions between his television commitments. He continued working well into the 2000s, appearing on All My Children until 2011, with a brief return in 2013 for the show's online revival. David Canary passed away on November 16, 2015, in Wilton, Connecticut, from natural causes related to Alzheimer's disease. He was 77 years old. Canary's career spanned the evolution of television itself, from the golden age of westerns through the height of daytime drama. From the football field to Broadway, he proved that an actor's only real limits are the ones they place on themselves. Victor Sen Yung, born on October 18, 1915, in San Francisco's Chinatown, Victor Sen Yung, originally Sen Yu, grew up navigating the complex intersections of his Chinese heritage and the burgeoning world of American culture. Victor's entry into the entertainment world wasn't planned. With aspirations shaped by his surroundings and economic necessity, Yung initially focused on finding practical work to support his family after his mother's early passing. However, fate had other plans. By his early 20s, he had ventured into acting, auditioning for roles that led him directly into the heart of Hollywood during its golden age. Victor's first significant role came in 1938 with Charlie Chan in Honolulu. Over the next decade, Yung appeared in 13 Charlie Chan films, including Charlie Chan in Panama, 1940, Charlie Chan at the Wax Museum, 1940, and Castle in the Desert, 1942. Despite the stereotypes embedded in these roles, Victor brought charisma, charm, and a sense of relatability to Jimmy Chan, turning what might have been a flat supporting character into a beloved figure. Victor Sen Yung wasn't content to remain typecast. Throughout the 1940s and 1950s, he expanded his repertoire, taking on roles in films that required a combination of depth and nuance. He demonstrated his dramatic chops in The Letter, 1940, where he portrayed a key witness in a murder case. His performance added an air of suspense and intrigue, and it remains one of his standout dramatic appearances. In Across the Pacific, 1942, he starred opposite Humphrey Bogart and Mary Astor in a wartime spy thriller. This role allowed Yung to show a more complex side, contributing to a tense and riveting narrative about espionage. Later in his career, Yung appeared in films such as Flower Drum Song, 1961, a landmark film showcasing Asian American talent. Yung played a smaller role that contributed to the groundbreaking representation of Asian culture on screen. While Victor's film career was impressive, it was his television work that made him a household name. In 1959, he joined the cast of Bonanza as Hop Sing, the Cartwright family's cook. Over 14 seasons and 102 episodes, Yung turned Hop Sing into far more than a background character. His portrayal blended humor, authority, and pride, creating a character who often stood his ground against the sometimes domineering Cartwrights. Hop Sing's scenes were often moments of levity, but they also carried a quiet dignity, reflecting Yung's ability to elevate his roles beyond their initial scope. He also appeared on other popular TV shows such as Perry Mason. Victor's talents extended well beyond acting. He was an accomplished chef, passionate about promoting Chinese cuisine in America. In 1974, he published Great Wok Cooking, a cookbook that introduced many readers to authentic and accessible Chinese recipes. His culinary skills were also showcased through television appearances, where he shared his love of cooking with a broader audience. On November 9, 1980, Victor Sen Yung's life was tragically cut short. He was found dead in his North Hollywood home, the victim of accidental asphyxiation caused by a malfunctioning gas stove. He was 65 years old. Yung was laid to rest at Green Lawn Memorial Park in Colma, California. Victor Sen Yung's legacy is one of perseverance and quiet revolution. At a time when roles for Asian Americans were scarce and often stereotypical, Yung brought complexity and humanity to the characters he portrayed. From his early days as Jimmy Chan to his iconic role as Hop Sing, he helped to pave the way for future generations of Asian American actors. His life was a testament to the power of talent and determination. Bing Russell. I've lived two dreams, baseball and acting. Not many people can say that, Bing Russell once said, encapsulating a life as unique as it was impactful. Born Neil Oliver Russell on May 5, 1926, in Brattleboro, Vermont, Russell's life defied expectations, weaving together two quintessentially American passions: the art of storytelling on screen and the competitive spirit of baseball. Growing up in St. Petersburg, Florida, Bing's childhood was steeped in baseball lore. His home bordered the New York Yankees spring training camp, and he quickly became a fixture there, rubbing shoulders with legends like Lou Gehrig and Joe DiMaggio. Yankees pitcher Lefty Gomez became a mentor and friend, and Russell absorbed the essence of the sport from some of its greatest players. This early exposure wasn't merely a fleeting fascination. It forged in him a deep respect for the game and its players that would define his later ventures in independent baseball. His early years were a grind, with small roles in films and TV shows like The Magnificent Seven, 1960, Rio Bravo, 1959. These early projects sharpened his craft and built his reputation as a dependable character actor, particularly in westerns. His breakthrough came in 1961, when he landed the role of Deputy Clem Foster on Bonanza. Over 55 episodes spanning 13 seasons, Clem became a steady, calming presence in Virginia City, assisting the Cartwrights with their frequent brushes with the law. Clem was more than a minor character. He was a cornerstone of the show's rich tapestry, embodying loyalty, fairness, and a sense of quiet authority. Russell's portrayal of Clem resonated deeply with viewers, adding depth to Bonanza's ensemble cast. His understated yet impactful performance exemplified the strength of the everyman in the larger-than-life dramas of the Wild West. While Bonanza provided a stable platform, Russell's career extended far beyond Deputy Clem. He appeared in over 150 films and TV shows during a career spanning 4 decades. From guest spots on The Rockford Files and Gunsmoke to family-friendly films like The Apple Dumpling Gang, 1975, Russell consistently brought authenticity to every role. His rugged charm and natural presence made him a go-to actor for westerns and adventure stories alike. In 1973, Russell took his love for baseball to new heights by purchasing the Portland Mavericks, an independent minor league team in Oregon. Bing turned the team into a symbol of rebellion and ingenuity, recruiting overlooked players who had been cast aside by Major League Baseball. The Mavericks thrived under his leadership, becoming a haven for misfits and underdogs. Russell wasn't just an owner, he was a hands-on leader. He hired Lanny Moss, the first woman general manager in professional baseball, and prioritized fostering an environment of joy and competition. The Mavericks' success wasn't just measured in wins. They broke attendance records and captured the hearts of Portland fans, defying the conventional hierarchy of professional baseball. The Mavericks operated until 1977, when organized baseball returned to Portland, forcing the team to disband. Their story was immortalized in the Netflix documentary, The Battered Bastards of Baseball, 2014, co-directed by Russell's grandsons Chapman and McLean Way. The documentary highlighted Bing's innovation, passion, and unwavering belief in second chances. Bing's personal life was as dynamic as his professional one. He married Louise Julia Crone in 1946, and the couple raised 4 children, including Kurt Russell, who would go on to become a Hollywood superstar. Kurt frequently credited Bing for instilling values of perseverance and creative independence. Bing was also a mentor to many young actors, imparting lessons about the craft and the industry. Even in his later years, Bing remained active, continuing to appear in films and TV shows, while staying involved in his family's pursuits. On April 8, 2003, Bing Russell passed away from cancer at his home in Thousand Oaks, California. He was 76 years old. He was cremated, and his ashes were reportedly given to his family, reflecting a private and personal farewell. Bing Russell's life was anything but ordinary. In Hollywood, he built a legacy as a dependable and beloved character actor. On the baseball field, he revolutionized independent baseball, proving that passion and ingenuity could defy even the most entrenched systems. Baseball, like life, isn't about being perfect. It's about showing up, giving it everything you've got, and loving every minute of it. Michael Landon, born Eugene Maurice Orowitz on October 31, 1936, in Forest Hills, Queens, New York. Landon's rise from a challenging childhood to stardom in beloved television series is a story of resilience and reinvention. Eugene's upbringing was far from idyllic. His mother, Peggy O'Neill, struggled with depression and suicidal tendencies, creating a tense and unpredictable household. His father, Eli Maurice Orowitz, was a theater manager, but his presence provided limited stability. "I grew up feeling like I had to fix everything," Landon later admitted. Athletics became his sanctuary. At Collingswood High School in New Jersey, he excelled as a javelin thrower, setting a national high school record. This talent earned him a scholarship to the University of Southern California, but a devastating shoulder injury ended his dreams of competing in track and field during his freshman year. After dropping out, Landon worked at a gas station and began exploring acting. A pivotal moment came when he responded to an acting school ad, adopting Michael Landon from a random name in the phone book. He quickly secured his first role in the low-budget horror film I Was a Teenage Werewolf, 1957. This role earned him modest attention, but his big break came in 1959. Landon's breakthrough role came as Joseph Little Joe Cartwright in Bonanza. Cast at just 22, Landon played the youngest son of Ben Cartwright, the patriarch of the Ponderosa Ranch. The series, set in 1860s Nevada, explored themes of family, morality, and justice, while showcasing Landon's charm and emotional depth. Landon's tenure on Bonanza lasted 14 seasons, from 1959 to 1973, making it the second longest-running Western in TV history. Little Joe was the heartthrob of the family, appealing to younger audiences with his impulsive nature and romantic storylines. His journey often balanced comedy and drama, showcasing Landon's range. But Landon's impact extended beyond acting. He became increasingly involved behind the scenes, writing and directing episodes. His first script, To Die in Darkness, addressed themes of friendship and bravery, receiving critical acclaim. Landon's ability to weave emotional resonance with action set him apart as a storyteller. In 1974, Landon transitioned from cowboy to family man as Charles Ingalls in Little House on the Prairie. Inspired by Laura Ingalls Wilder's books, Landon not only starred in the series, but also served as a producer, writer, and director for many episodes. The show tackled issues like racism, poverty, and addiction with sensitivity, resonating with audiences across generations. Co-star Melissa Gilbert famously described Landon as our pa, both on and off the screen. In 1984, Landon returned to television with Highway to Heaven, playing Jonathan Smith, a probationary angel helping people find redemption. This marked his final major television role, once again blending heartfelt drama with meaningful life lessons. Off-screen, Landon's personal life was as dramatic as his roles. He married 3 times, first to Dodie Levy-Fraser, then to Lynn No, and finally to Cindy Clerico. Between his marriages, he fathered 9 children and embraced a blended family, often bringing them to set. Despite his on-screen wholesome image, Landon faced criticism for his personal choices, including infidelity. While primarily known for television, Landon appeared in a few lesser-known films, such as Maracaibo, 1958, and The Legend of Tom Dooley, 1959. He also guest-starred in several series early in his career, including Playhouse 90 and Wanted, Dead or Alive. In 1991, Landon was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, an aggressive and often fatal illness. Facing his diagnosis with characteristic candor, he appeared on The Tonight Show to speak openly about his battle. On July 1, 1991, at his Malibu home, surrounded by loved ones, Michael Landon passed away at 54. Landon brought heart and humanity to his roles and fought to make television a medium that could tackle tough topics while remaining entertaining. Dan Blocker. On a crisp December morning in 1928, as winter wrapped around DeKalb, Texas, Mary and Ora Blocker welcomed their son, Bobby Dan Davis Blocker, into the world. Little did his parents know that their bouncing baby boy would one day capture the hearts of millions as the beloved Hoss Cartwright. By age 12, Dan, as he preferred to be called, already stood 6 feet tall and weighed 200 pounds, earning the ironic nickname Little Danny from his classmates. Rather than letting his size intimidate others, young Dan developed a gentle demeanor and quick wit that would later define his career. His high school football coaches must have thought Christmas came early when he walked onto the field, but Dan's heart pulled him toward the stage rather than the gridiron. Defying expectations, Blocker wasn't just another big guy. He had an intellectual streak that surprised everyone. After graduating from Texas Military Institute, he pursued higher education at Hardin-Simmons University. Blocker served as an infantry sergeant in the Korean War, where his leadership skills and compassionate nature earned him respect among his fellow soldiers. He returned from combat with rarely shared stories, preferring to focus on life's lighter sides. After returning from Korea, Blocker's path to stardom began in the most humble of places, teaching English and drama at Edna High School and later Sonora High School in Texas. Hollywood beckoned, and in 1957, Blocker boldly decided to pack up his family and head west to California. His breakthrough came in March 1958 on The Restless Gun. This appearance caught the eyes of casting directors, leading to a string of roles that showcased his commanding presence. His guest appearance on The Rifleman became a standout moment in his early career. As Pete Snipe, Blocker transformed what could have been a forgettable antagonist into a memorably complex character. In 1959, Blocker auditioned for what would become his defining role. The character description for Eric Hoss Cartwright might as well have been written with him in mind. Producer David Dortort later recalled that the moment Blocker read for the part, there was no question they had found their Hoss. The role was originally conceived as a simple strongman, but Blocker's natural intelligence and gentle demeanor transformed Hoss into something more complex. From 1959 to 1972, Bonanza ruled the television landscape, becoming the first Western to be broadcast in color and one of the longest-running and most successful series of the 1960s. The show reached number 1 in 1964 and remained there for 3 years. Blocker appeared in 415 episodes, bringing Hoss to life with a combination of physical comedy and emotional depth that made the character far more than just the muscle of the Ponderosa. While Bonanza kept him busy, Blocker managed to take on several film roles that showcased his range. He appeared in Come Blow Your Horn, 1963, with Frank Sinatra demonstrating his comedy chops. In 1968, he gave a powerful performance in Lady in Cement, alongside Frank Sinatra and Raquel Welch. His final film appearance was in The Cockeyed Cowboys of Calico County, 1970, where he played the lead role of Charlie, a blacksmith looking for love, a role that allowed him to step out of Hoss's shadow and prove his capabilities as a leading man. Blocker's business acumen extended beyond acting. In 1963, he became one of the original investors in the Bonanza steakhouse chain. He also made wise investments in California real estate, earning a reputation for his shrewd financial decisions. In May 1972, what should have been a routine gallbladder surgery took an unexpected turn. Complications arose, and on May 13th, at just 43 years old, Dan Blocker died from a pulmonary embolism, leaving behind his wife Dolphia and their 4 children. The loss stunned Hollywood and devastated his Bonanza family. After Blocker passed away in May 1972, the producers decided not to recast the role of Hoss Cartwright out of respect for Blocker's memory. Instead, they wrote his character out of the series. In the 14th and final season of Bonanza, in 1972-1973, Hoss's absence is acknowledged indirectly. It is implied that the character has died, but the show never explicitly addresses the cause of his death or provides details. This decision aligned with the cast's and crew's grief, as they found it difficult to depict the death of Hoss on screen. Dan Blocker was laid to rest in Woodman Cemetery, located in his hometown of DeKalb, Bowie County, Texas. Blocker's untimely death created a void that Bonanza couldn't fill, and the show ended its run shortly after. But his impact reached far beyond television. He showed that masculinity could be gentle, that strength could serve kindness, and that size was no barrier to grace. If you've made it this far, thank you for staying and listening. I hope you enjoyed. If you love hearing about the lives and deaths of entertainment legends, subscribe for more untold stories that peek behind the curtain of Hollywood's greatest stars. Tune in to our next episode, where we commemorate Charles Bronson, the reluctant hero who redefined Hollywood toughness.